Hey everybody, Dirili here. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Hakuouki Demon of the Fleeting Blossom. We are on Okita Souji's route, and in the last episode we left off with us eavesdropping and finding out that Okita has tuberculosis, which back at that time was a death sentence. And the doctor advised him to leave the Shinsengumi and go rest, but he refuses because basically he probably figures he would have died for the Shinsengumi at some point anyway, so... Well, but also, he's just really loyal and refuses to leave his friends. So let us continue here. You can just sit back, relax, and let me read you a story. I couldn't bear to look into his eyes. Alright. My eyes trained purposefully on the ground at my feet. I slowly lowered myself onto the bench. The silence was maddening. My head felt somehow light and heavy at the same time, as if it might sink into my stomach or float away like a balloon. And that's why he doesn't want anybody knowing, because they'll all treat him like this. You didn't buy all the crap the doctor was saying, did you? Come on. Do I really look like I'm that sick? His voice was playful and teasing. I don't want you to take that seriously, alright? He was just guessing, overreacting. Dr. Matsumoto hadn't sounded like he was guessing to me. In fact, he sounded pretty sure of himself. Then again, who would know what was going on with Okita better than Okita himself? Yeah, but you also know that he would lie. He wouldn't tell anyone about something that was just a guess, right? There was an edge to his voice, one that perhaps he didn't notice was there. If you tell anybody, I'll probably have to kill you after all. You don't have to threaten me, you could just ask me and I would do it. I'd heard those words many times before, often delivered in a cheerful, casual tone. Well, I think basically death threats are his terms of endearment. When he says I'll kill you, he really means, I love you. If I got in the way, he'd kill me. If I wasn't useful, he'd kill me. And every time I'd heard them, I'd been terrified at how serious he was. But this time, he only sounded sad. You say that so much, Okita. I could feel tears welling up in my eyes, ready to... No. This wasn't the time. With a mighty effort, I swallowed the sob building in my chest. He gave me an odd, crooked smile. Yeah, I guess I do. He stood up. After a second's hesitation, I followed suit. Okita. He turned slowly to face me. For the first time since I'd sat down, I looked straight into his eyes. My mind was still reeling from everything I just learned, but I had to give him an answer. I won't tell anyone about your illness. I promise. Thanks. That made him love me more. His smile was gentle and as honest as I'd ever seen from him. After he left, I stood alone in the courtyard. It was the first time Okita had thanked me for anything. By all rights, I should have been happy, ecstatic, but instead I felt miserable. My heart was a stone in my chest, and my stomach felt as if it had twisted itself nearly in half. Okita. A stray breeze crossed the courtyard to caress my cheek. It felt cold. From then on, Matsumoto visited the compound regularly to check up on the men of the Shinsengumi. The corps was renamed the Fury Corps, but remained secret. Wait, can I skip? Yep, I can skip. And here, instead of the notice board, we have to worry about the Furies. Just as Hijikata had predicted, the Shinsengumi received an official request to guard the notice board at the Sanjo Ohashi Bridge. As it turned out, the vandals were 8 men from the Tosa domain. Harada and his division were well prepared and captured them when they attacked. Harada was given an award by the Aizu for his service, and he took the rest of the captains to Shimbara to celebrate. I had remained at the temple to eat my dinner alone, but my heart felt like I had a lead weight in my chest, and it chased away any appetite I might have had. What's going to happen to the Shinsengumi and the Fury Corps? Almost as if on cue, the door slid open, and Sanin stepped through. Oh, hello, Sanin. Can I help you? I'd scarcely opened my mouth when Sanin began to speak. He's gonna start asking for my blood already? The water of life is amazing. The furies we've created are a complete success. Only short-sighted fools would call it a failure. They simply lack a proper understanding of what we've done. With this, we have nothing to fear. Not Tosa, not Choshu, not anyone. You agree, don't you, Yukimura? Sanen's face looked wrong somehow. This wasn't the man I knew. His eyes glittered with something strange and frightening. It looked unpleasantly like madness. He'd been acting oddly lately, but it was different from when he'd lost use of his arm. This was more threatening somehow, and it felt as if it was rapidly spiraling out of control. Say something. You don't agree with those fools, do you? They don't understand. His left hand wrapped around my wrist with fingers like steel cables and hauled on my arm, trying to pull my face up to look into his. I pulled against his grip, but he was far too strong for me to overcome. Please, stop! The horrible twitching madness in his eyes was too much for me, and I screamed. Okita! Help me!
What are you grabbing her for, Sanen? Well, that's not how you impress a lady, see? She's terrified.
Okita flashed a grin, but his hand on Sanen's arm didn't waver. Behind him, I could see Saito and Heisuke. Oh, I got caught up in the moment. I lost control. I apologize. On the other side of his glasses, Sanen's eyes have returned to normal. The glint of madness was gone. It's good to see you back. You're a little earlier than I expected, though.
Sana's gonna be drinking till morning, if Shin has anything to say about it. I didn't think I could handle that much, so I left with this pair of sticks in the mud.
It's only the three of you, then? Heisuke grinned.
Hijikata caught the eye of a lady at Sumi, called Kimigiku. She sat next to him the whole night.
Aw, you jealous, Heisuke. Well, she's a demon with no interest in you anyway.
Being the commander of the Shinsengumi doesn't seem to stop him from getting all the ladies.
And the demon commander at that. Kimigiku?
Yeah, she was real pretty. Actually, I'm a little worried Sana might not have enough to pay for her.
I see. One of Kyoto's Oiran, I guess. She was probably just as beautiful as Heisuke said. They must have made a beautiful couple. I gazed down at myself, small, plain, and dressed like a boy. Suddenly I felt very sad. Oh, probably even sadder during, Hijikata's route.
Is something wrong? You look unhappy.
Oh, no, it's nothing. I did my best to give him a convincing smile.
I imagine you're tired. Perhaps we should leave.
His last words were directed at Sanen, who shrugged and sighed.
Yes, I suppose so. We'll talk another time then. You should get some rest, Chizuru.
I will, thank you. And I meant it. Sanen had calmed down, but I had no wish to be around him just then any longer than I had to. Okita stopped at the door just as Sanen was leaving.
Sanen, this water of life stuff. Does it cure diseases and things too?
Oh no.
Of course. I was a normal human being before, but I have been reborn into something completely different. I'm sure I could cure even so-called incurable diseases.
Does he know about Souji? And he's tempting him on purpose?
Huh.
They started walking again. I could hear them as they moved down the hall, still talking.
I think we'll leave Sanen to Souji for now.
He watched them leave, his always unreadable face stern, and of course unreadable. He remained for a few moments before leaving himself. Heisuke had stayed silent during the exodus. When he finally spoke, his voice was sad.
Sanen's different.
Then, even the captains who'd been with the Shinsengumi since Edo were beginning to grow suspicious of Sanen. Heisuke was quiet for a few moments. I was starting to feel as if he was avoiding my gaze when he finally spoke. He told me that when Harada and his men had been attacked at Sanjo Ohashi, one of them had seen someone who looked a lot like me. This strange person had tried to impede the Shinsengumi and sided with the vandals from the Tosa domain. I haven't left the temple, of course, and even if I had been at Sanjo Ohashi, I would never have tried to get in the Shinsengumi's way. But if it wasn't me, then who? What could it mean? Heisuke's news only fed the anxiety that had been slowly building within me. And more skippage. And here Ito has left us, and for once we actually get to choose the same option, so we're still worried about the soldiers. Oh, but then we have to make a second choice, and this time we have to talk to someone neutral. If I wanted a fair assessment, I needed to talk to a neutral party, and my best guess, that would mean Okita. He was close to Kondo and Hijikata, of course, but he seemed to stay largely aloof from political disputes. Perhaps he'd be able to give me a rational explanation. Alright, Okita's room it is.
Oh, Yukimura. Were you going somewhere?
Yes, I was going to see Okita.
You need something from him?
Yes, I suppose. I wanted to ask him something. Do you know where he is?
I think he's over in the courtyard.
He's always in the courtyard. Thanks. I'll go see if I can find him.
Just don't forget you were hurt last night. You can't push yourself too hard.
Oh, if only you knew. I'm all better already. In fact, moments after it happened. Just as Yamazaki said, Okita was in the courtyard. He stood gazing across the garden. In a way, he looked more like an innocent child than Souji Okita, feared Ronin of Kyoto. Okita?
Huh? Damn. I didn't even sense your presence until you said something. You must be getting rusty.
Either that or I'm brushing up on my ninja skills nicely. He laughed like a child caught in a prank.
At this rate, you'll kill me before I kill you.
Please don't joke like that. I know you're not feeling well.
So I've got a bit of a cough. Doesn't mean anything. Anyway, what'd you need?
Huh?
Oh well, I don't think you came here to lecture me on my health. You want something?
Oh, right. I heard that Ito and some of the men are leaving, so... Did you hear that Saito and Heisuke are going with him too?
Yeah. Next time we run into him, we'll probably have to kill each other.
He said it so casually that for a moment, I was at an utter loss for words. Kill each other? Are you serious? This is Heisuke and Saito we're talking about. Well, I'm sure he'd have fun fighting Saito at least.
Well, if they aren't my enemies, then I probably won't have to kill them, but if they end up fighting the Shinsengumi, they won't be getting any favors from me.
But you've been friends for so long.
Maybe, but we're killers first and friends second. The Shinsengumi isn't a social club. If we get along, that's great, but ultimately it doesn't matter. That's my job, anyway.
But is it really that easy? And actually we have to make the same choice for this route as we did in Sonosuke's. Choose yes. Ah, and again the same decision. Go outside. But this time we have to try to escape instead of trusting the Shinsengumi. Ugh! I twisted my body back and forth, gathering up all the strength I could manage to pull against Kazuma's hold, but it was no use.
This is pointless. Even with demon strength, a male is stronger than a female.
Kazuma didn't even look particularly strong, but his arm held as fast as tempered steel. I couldn't move. No matter how I struggled, he wouldn't budge. I was about to give up when I heard a yell.
I am Isami Kondo, chief of the Shinsengumi.
Kondo appeared out of the dark, bounding across the grounds.
The head of the Shinsengumi's chief will make an acceptable trophy, I suppose. Stay calm. I've come here to save you.
I don't want you, I want Okita to save me. Be careful, he's not human.
Yeah.
He swung his sword down in a hard cut toward Kazuma. I could have sworn I could hear the wind whistling past the blade as it moved. Kazuma turned aside at the last moment, and the sound of steel on steel exploded in my ear. I felt the impact shudder through Kazuma's body, even as the clang turned into the hard metal grinding of the sword sliding against sword. Sparks flew, and Kondo leapt back and struck again. Again, Kazuma's sword flickered up and intercepted it.
Marginally impressive, but I suppose the chief by necessity has some skill.
Kondo's sword tore down through the air again, his face the picture of a furious god. Kazuma blocked his strike, but with me in one arm, he couldn't go on the offensive.
You will return her to us! Huh!
Stronger than you expected, eh? The sheer power of Kondo's next blow drove Kazuma back a few precious steps. Ay! Suddenly, I felt myself thrown to the side, away from Kazuma.
Are you alright? No matter, hurry, get up.
Yes. Yamazaki offered me a hand, which I used to pull myself up. With me out of his grasp, Kazuma was free to fight with both hands and had begun to push Kondo back.
Something wrong. You look out of breath.
I have enough breath to fight you.
Chief, hold on, I'm coming.
I've never seen Yamazaki look so scared. I'm coming too!
No, you'd be a liability in a battle, not an asset. Go find a room inside and stay there.
In this battle in particular. But what about you? Not in a mood for argument, Yamazaki instead grabbed my hand and pulled me toward the nearest door. With a last look of exasperation, he heaved me inside, frowned, and ran back to the battle. I'd expected to land hard on the floor, but whatever I found myself on was soft. Is it Okita? Did I fall on him?
Gotta admit, I didn't figure you for this type of girl.
The voice came from below me. Oh, Okita?
I didn't think I'd be getting pushed down in the bed tonight. Least of all by you.
But we're on tatami mats, not on bed. He was giggling. Suddenly, I realized what the soft thing was that I'd landed on. When Yamazaki had thrown me into the room, he'd thrown me on top of Okita. Oh no! No! This is just a mistake. I didn't mean... I just... Yamazaki, he... It was an accident. I realized I was babbling and shut my mouth with a snap.
Ah, really? Tell me, how is it? On top of me, does it feel good?
Oh my god! Ah! Oh, Souji. Huh? Oh! I'd been so busy trying to think up an excuse, I hadn't realized I was still on top of him. I'm sorry. With a speed born of extreme embarrassment, I leapt off. I was just so comfortable, I forgot. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Silently, I thanked the darkness for hiding the ridiculous color my face certainly was.
Hey, come on. It hurts me when you apologize so much. It makes me think you hate me or something.
No, it's not that. I was just, embarrassed. Okita, what did you just say? It would hurt him if he thought I hated him? What did he mean by that? But my question was drowned out by the noise of the battle outside.
It's getting pretty serious out there. The demon showed up.
Yes, that's right. I'd almost forgotten. I couldn't stay here. Where are you planning on going?
Yeah, I know. I want to go out there and fight too, but Hijikata and Yamazaki would get pissed. I don't need one mom, let alone two. Kondo's out there though, right?
Yes, but he's fighting one of the demons.
And don't worry about him. He's an amazing swordsman. Way better than me.
Wow, really? I never realized he was that good. Okita's eyes shone with admiration and respect for Kondo. There was no question that he trusted the man to win.
Well, if the demons get this far, then I'll get to fight him.
He grinned at me, the same grin I'd seen 1,000 times, but this time it felt lonely.
But, listen, you gotta stay away from me, okay? I'm not good for you.
Is he worried about making me sick, or is he worried about us getting close? Yamazaki appeared sometime later to tell us that the demons had retreated, just as Okita had predicted. It seemed like morning came altogether too early, and skipping time. And here I must decide to stay home instead of wanting to help. They would all be going to battle. If I went, I would only be in the way. Or perhaps that was simply an excuse to allow me to feel better for staying behind because I didn't know what to say to Heisuke. Harada and Nagakura are his best friends. If anyone can bring him back, they can. My mind occupied with worried thoughts of Heisuke and the others, I wandered around the compound, and before long found myself outside. I was about to go back in when I heard footsteps running toward me. Yamazaki?
What are you doing out here? You weren't supposed to go outside alone.
Oh, sorry.
No, it doesn't matter. You don't have time. This is serious. I need to get everyone into the main hall. Can you help me round them all up, quickly now?
Serious? The main hall was noisy, even though most of the Shinsengumi was elsewhere.
Souji is resting, so I decided to leave him be. Is that alright?
No, he's gonna be mad.
Yes, that's fine. Alright, I can't wait any longer. We'll just have to start without Shimada.
Has something happened? I'd never seen Yamazaki so impatient. Whatever it was that he had to say, it had to be big.
You're making me nervous, Yamazaki. Did Ito's assassination not go as planned?
No, he's dead, and we were able to lure the guard to Aburano Koji with his body and surround them.
So few words to mark the death of a man. But Yamazaki pressed forward, and I had no time to feel sad.
Unfortunately, we were interrupted by a third party, just as we were about to deal with the guard, the Satsuma.
Oh no! Are Nagakura and Harada and Heisuke alright?
Our men were outnumbered, but we have the upper hand in skill. Still, I'm not sure how long they'll be able to hold off such an overwhelming force.
Then we need to send reinforcements right away. Shimada and I can go.
What was that noise? Just as Inoue stood up, there was an explosion of noise from outside. Shocked glances were exchanged just as Shimada came through the door, distress plain on his face.
We're under attack. It's a demon.
What? Why now? Because they knew.
Oh, I doubt it's a coincidence. Can you give us any details, Shimada? Is it just a single demon, or are there two or three?
No, only one. He's thin with a sword. Chikaga Kazuma.
We ran through the door, then came to a sudden halt, frozen by the scene before us. Everywhere there were bodies, and the air was thick with the stench of blood so strong that one need not be a fury to be driven mad by it. Ugh!
These men are all from the Fury Corps. Did Kazuma do this by himself?
If the Fury Corps is here, then Sana must be nearby as well. Where is he? Over there.
Gah. Pathetic imitation. Die like the dog you are.
One of the Furies who'd leapt at Kazuma alongside Sanin fell to the ground with a groan.
Damn you.
He hasn't gone into Fury mode yet.
You're better than this filth, but you're still nothing more than a pale reflection of true power.
Of all the Fury Corps, Sanin was the only one who could even begin to stand before Kazuma's onslaught. But even he was no match for the demon. Kazuma kicked out, almost casually at a charging Fury, throwing him across the yard and continuing a slow walk forward.
Stay back, Yukimura. We'll take care of him.
Be careful, men. Kazuma is dangerous, but he isn't the only enemy here. Don't let them see your back.
That's the first time I've seen Inoue in a fighting stance. The Furies driven mad by the blood would likely lose track of who was friend and who was foe. I thought of what that could mean and shivered. The men with me nodded to one another and rushed forward.
Good luck.
I didn't know why Kazuma had chosen this time to attack, but even if I faced him, I would be completely useless. What then was I to do? Check on Okita, of course. Of course. Okita was still resting. Inoue had said so. What if the Furies attacked him now? That thought shook me to my core, and I took off for his room. Okita! By the time I reached his room, Okita was already preparing for battle. His swords were strapped to his waist, and as I stepped in, he looked at me with a grin.
Hey, it took too long. Nobody came to get me, so I figured I'd go out on my own.
Are you feeling better? He looked at me as if it was the most idiotic question he'd ever heard.
I wasn't real happy about being told to stay here, but it looks like I got to have some fun after all.
Oh, I was such a fool. For just a moment, I'd forgotten how serious Okita's illness was. The flecks of blood on his lips drove home just how wrong I'd been, and I felt tears as I ran to him. Please, don't do this. The rest of the Shinsengumi has the situation under control. Please go back to bed.
Let go. I can still fight. I'm not useless yet, you know.
It's not nice to brush away someone who's worried about you. Kaoru? There was no doubt that this was the person I'd met the day in the city, but the hair that had been tied up atop her head once was now cut and hung just above her shoulders. The beautiful kimono she'd been wearing when we first met was long gone, replaced with a black jacket and pants that looked as if they were meant only for battle. In fact, she looked like... This is my true self. I apologize for lying about my sex, but I had a good reason to.
So, you're a guy, huh? Interesting.
Either Okita didn't much care, or he'd already known. In any event, he seems unsurprised. That's kind of funny. I'm pretending to be a guy, and he's been pretending to be a girl. I didn't have the same luxury. Wait, what do you mean? He gave me an oddly unsettling smile. I kept my true self hidden only for one reason, the same reason I've come here tonight. I'm here to save my sister.
Sister?
I'm talking about you, Chizuru. What? True, we looked alike, but...
Sister?
I realize this is rather confusing for you. Let me explain. When our family refused to help overthrow the shogunate and was destroyed, you were taken by Kodo, and I was taken by the Nagumo family from the Tosa domain. We were separated.
Are we twins? Our family?
Kodo, not father? Each word out of Kaoru's mouth hit me like a fist. Our real parents were long dead, and the man I thought to be my father was not even related to me. Shouldn't we have figured it out long ago since we knew we were pure-blooded? What if their truths were really lies? Kaoru gestured at his face, so uncannily similar to my own. I share your face, and yet you still won't believe me? Perhaps my sword will convince you then.
Ah.
My Daitsuren is a companion to your own Shotsuren. They were separated along with us. No, my father never said... As much as my mind resisted the very idea, there was no denying that this face and this sword were proof that we were connected.
So, you're a demon too?
Yes, I am. You seem awfully calm, Okita. If we were born to the same house, like Kaoru claimed, then he would be a demon.
Should I be excited? None of this is really my problem. Can I ask you something, though? Seeing as you're a demon, do you just plan to use her like Kazuma does?
No, that would be incest. What? The tension in the room suddenly snapped taut. I looked back and forth from Okita to Kaoru, not sure what to do. Kaoru simply smiled. No, that's not my intent. Can I ask you a question in return? What would you have done if I'd said yes? Would you have tried to stop me with that broken body? The room was silent. When Okita spoke, his words were what I'd expected and feared.
No, you're free to take her. I don't care what either of you are up to. You don't mean that, Souji?
I see.
No, he's just trying to push me away, that's why. He doesn't want me to get sick. And he doesn't think he can protect me.
I'd known just how little Okita thought of me, but to hear him say it... There was a part of me, a small part, that had hoped for a different answer.
No, will you get out of my way?
No, I will not. You can't fight anyone right now.
Like hell I can't.
You're awfully determined, aren't you? Very well. Here.
Why are you giving that to him?
The bottle Kaoru held out shone in the moonlight, the thick red liquid inside licking silently at the sides. I recognized that liquid all too well.
Where did you get that, Kaoru?
Kodo gave it to me.
Wait, so is this a more refined version of it? My father gave you that?
Not your father.
This is...
I have been told to cooperate with Kazuma and his men because of the relationship between the Satsuma, Choshu, and Tosa. Kaoru's gaze drifted toward the floor. But if their plan is to simply use my sister as some sort of demonic broodmare, I can't allow that to happen.
So, you want me to drink the water of life and protect her? Is that it? Seems pretty selfish.
I'm sorry if it seems that way, but the choice is yours. You can lie in bed cursing your illness and crying for battle, or you can drink this and become a fury.
And why can't you just protect me, Kaoru? You're a demon too, right?
No, Okita, you can't! Okita had seen the suffering of the Furies countless times, They were almost pitiable creatures who couldn't bear the sun's light and went mad at the scent of blood. If he became one of them, Okita didn't answer. He fell silent, his eyes glued to the bottle and its blood-red contents. The water of life was evil. It drove good men mad. How could my brother offer Okita this horrible thing my father had made? Please, Kaoru, don't do this. If you're really my brother and you really care for me, then why are you doing this to Okita? And actually, we're going to learn that in the next episode because I just realized I've been reading too long. So sorry about the cliffhanger, but I will be reading that right away. Though I'm not sure if it'll be edited the same day or not. Hopefully it will. So I hope to see you there or in some of my other videos, and I'd be so grateful for any likes, comments, subscriptions, or shares with your friends to show some support. Thank you so much for joining me, and I wish you all health, happiness, and safety. Dirili signing out. Bye bye everybody.